Welcome to R.A.U.F's YouTube channel in a series of questions and answers with Mr. Ebrahim Dawood.
Family denial and enabling of addiction. This, to me, is a bigger problem than somebody who's in addiction and in denial. So there's two levels of denial. One is the family, and one is a substance abuser. To me, the bigger challenge is the family in denial, not the substance abuser. The substance abuser is dysfunctional. He can't see the seriousness of the problem. But what about the family? They are normal people. They're accepting it. So denial amongst families. And how do they display it? No, he's fine. He doesn't have a problem. He's fine. And what they do, they enable addiction. So to me, one of the most serious challenges that we would come across when families will deny that there's a problem and they will enable it because they don't want to accept that they have a problem. So as long as a family is in denial and the enabling, recovery becomes, impossible, because the person who's in addiction is enjoying the comfort of the family, is playing on the sympathies and the emotions, they are enabling him, and he's continuing his addiction until the family get to a point where they feel that now we have a problem. And generally, the family will only come to us when this chap is now in serious trouble. So denial amongst families, where they would say that my son doesn't have a problem. Or they would say, he's such a lovely boy. Just unfortunately, he's got one bad habit and he takes drugs. Or, he had a very bad experience and he takes drugs. They would normally tell us that my son is a good boy. It's just that he has one bad habit. But what we fail to realize, that one bad habit would lead to his total destruction. So denial amongst families. And families also minimize. They also shift the blame. Similar to people in addiction. And then what they do, they enable it. And they would say, okay, we know of cases where monies were given to them to buy the drugs. We know of cases where parents will go and pay the merchant for the money that are outstanding. So in enabling. We know of cases where families would go and pay the bail when they get into trouble with the drug-related crime. So enabling and denial among families, to me, is a major hurdle. And trying to get families to understand that as long as they are enabling addiction and as long as there's denial amongst families, it's a perfect environment for somebody who chooses a life of addiction. So denial amongst families, when they deny there's a problem, they minimize that there's a problem, and they will shift the blame on somebody else. And what they do, they continuously enable it. So the question I'm asking, do you want your loved one, you actually, a member that's enabling, you are actually helping your son or your daughter or your loved one commit suicide slowly? And yet, to sort out the problem, it's easy. Just seek the help that you need. So, families that are enabling and that are in denial, please understand this. You have a very important role to play, because your enabling is feeding his addiction, and your denial is helping the problem or making the problem worse. So families are important players in this recovery program. Families need to make the first move. The person that's on drugs has a dysfunctional mind. We, as families, what do? Sit and wait for him to ask for help? Or do we facilitate and create the correct environment by seeking help and empower yourself on how to live with addiction?
Please share the information on this video with family and friends, and ask any questions regarding substance abuse and drug addiction in the comment section. Please follow us on all our social media platforms, which can be found in the description with all our contact information.
Can't you see I'm drug free?